Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Hold the Ball, HTB. It's actually been a while since I've actually done one of these lives here, and yeah, I thought I'd sort of start today and again check in on how you guys are going, but at the same time talk all things rugby league. Probably address some sort of things that are happening at the Warriors, sort of potential signings, potential releases, and sort of just go off, sort of touch base on the recent NRL games as well as some California Rugby League as well, and a bit of NARL as well. But again, before I sort of start, guys, hope you're well. Thanks again for joining in. I probably plan to be here for probably the next, half an hour to 45 odd minutes. So I want to try and make the most of it. Being a bit busy with in regards to the content stuff as well. Got some stuff brewing as we speak, heading into the postseason of the NRL. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, just discussing all things rugby league. But again, guys, thanks for joining in. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We'll just get into it. But again, I think what I'll do is I'll probably start first on the NRL stuff and sort of work backwards. Go NRL, CRL, and then NRL. So again, guys, just quickly, the NARL, the North American Rugby League, they actually had their game. It was the Canada Cup. Now, what was supposed to happen was basically a team from Ottawa, so the Ottawa Aces, were actually supposed to play the Toronto Wolfpack. I'm not too sure what's happened there, but the Ottawa Aces have somehow or subsequently dropped out of the competition. I'm not too sure why. So then the Washington DC, so then the DC Cavalry came in. So that's another one of the teams, and they actually came in and they played the Toronto Wolfpack. Now I'm not sure whether the players there were ready or whether it was just sort of like a pickup between some guys who decided to play. I'm not too sure, but basically that game ended up Toronto Wolfpack winning convincingly, and that was I believe 42 points to 6 over the DC Cavalry. So again, kudos to Cavalry for rocking up, taking over the place of the Ottawa Aces. But you sort of question where Ottawa are going. But in saying that, that's sort of the gist there. Now over to CRL, that's California Rugby League. As you can see with this cap here, I'm a big fan of the CRL. Hey guys, hey Frenchie, hey Dev fam. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of California Rugby League. And so basically today was the match yesterday, sort of different with the time differences. So today was the Razorbacks against the San Francisco Savage. And basically the turnout was if San Francisco Savage won, then depending on points differential, Los Angeles Mongrel, would have made it into the final. But I had Razorback win. If they won, then basically that'll cut LA Mongrel. So what happened was in that game there, I took my San Francisco Savage. That's who I support. But the Razorbacks actually ended up winning that game, 44 points to 36 actually in a very tight game. So that means that basically LA Mongrel are of no chance of qualifying to the final next week. So now we'll basically get a rematch between Razorbacks as well as San Francisco Savage heading into next week over in San Francisco, California. And just as well, there was actually a sort of like a three-way game, I guess, between San Diego Barracudas, LA Mongrel, as well as Orange County, who actually joined. Now, I'm not too sure if they're going to be part of the the sort of like the next revamp of the competition next year. I'm not too sure, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, I believe those teams sort of played each other. There was the games were not as long, so everybody could play each other in a three-way sort of game, and that was good to see. So I think LA Mongrel ended up winning that little trifecta game there with Orange County again, sort of being introduced. All right, guys, now we're going to get into it. The NRL. I'm probably going to sort of, hit this one here a bit hard, considering, it was a very tough game. Again, guys, we actually had some very, very tough games. So NRL round one, game one, we saw Manly take on the Roosters. And before the kickoff, everybody's sort of thinking amongst themselves, you're sort of thinking, well, these are probably high chance the Roosters can win. Obviously, there's a bit of a hype up regarding their team. you sort of look at Manly and you think, well, the Storm sort of beat the magic out of them and was not to be at all, actually. If anything, was far from the truth. If anything, you're probably given Manly a second gust of wind, I think, anyway. Don't mind, I suppose, don't mind the media hype around the game. It's good. I think it adds much. But anyway, to the game, look, from the get-go, you could probably sense that there was something in Manly's favour. Very tenacious, very good in attack. Tom Turbo was absolutely on fire. The halves were superb. It was just one of those games where I think everyone in unison sort of worked very well. And Roosters just had no answer. They got over the try line once, but I mean that was it. It seemed like it was Manly's show there, but it's again. I sort of made the tip on this game here, and I tipped Manly to win the game, which is what they did. But I didn't see it happening like this. Now, I think one of the sort of factors to this game that I thought about after watching it, thinking about Manly, was I think they really learned their lesson against the Storm. Sometimes losing like that can be a very benefiting sort of an experience. And I believe for them that's what sort of happened again with the Roosters. The week prior, they got over a very hearty sort of a Titans team that quite literally in the dying seconds screwed it up for themselves, I think, anyway, unfortunately. Whereas with the Manly side, I think their loss to the Storm has probably reactivated something in them. And whether you like it or not, I think that's what was on display. Now, again, Tedesco tried his heart out. Walker came in. I just don't think he was the injection they needed. I think personally he's probably fallen off a bit of form there. Victor Radley as well. He's a very, He's a very controversial sort of figure, I believe Victor Radley is. You either like him or you don't. And you sort of saw there was bits and, patches there in the game where, you sort of saw Victor Radley at his best. But I think ultimately joining the team, I don't think he was up to par. And again, just quickly with Victor Radley as well, you sort of see in the scrum there, I think he lays into Sean Kepi, punches him in the face. I'm not sure why the ref didn't sort of pull it up, but he sort of says that that's not his go, that's not his character. And again, I'm not going to question his character, but you sort of question his in-game sort of, temperament. And you can sort of argue a case and say that he's probably one of the, what's the word for those type of players? Grubs, I guess. No, it wasn't a good day from all the players, all the Roosters in general. Crichton got nullified. Niwa was nowhere to be seen. Again, like I said, Tedesco tried. One of the sort of bitter things about the game too is obviously Josh Morris leaves. He's retired, and with that, there's no more, for the first time in the span of 15 to 16 years, there are no more Morris brothers anymore. The twins are now gone. We sort of look, and again, that's just the beauty of sport and the sadness of sport. The beauty of sport is new players come up, young players come up that absolutely excite you, that just make you want to watch the game more, support your team, blah, blah, blah. But then they age and they get older and slower and, the rest of it. Some of them age like fine wine, but the reality is we all know nothing really lasts forever, particularly in the rugby league sense. So again, we say goodbye to Josh Morris and all he's done. And at the same time, we say goodbye to the Roosters as well as those who retired. So again, look, you got to be proud though. I think the Roosters, considering everything they've been through, close to 8+ injuries, plus retirement, season-ending injuries too. You sort of just look back and you think, wow, what they've done with what they've been through. You've got to say they're arguably the team of the year, I think anyway. If there's ever an award for that, if not, well, I've just made it up right now. The team of the year. And I think for me personally, spoiler alert, if I was actually doing one, I think the team of the year for me personally are the Sydney Roosters, with everything that's just happened to them. So again, they lost to Manly, a very strong attacking Manly team. Hats off to them, but again, to the Rooster team, to the Sydney Roosters, good work. And again, guys, if any questions and questions to ask, feel free to. If not, I'm just going to keep going, and I will get into the Warrior stuff very soon. I do have a few sort of points to make out too. And again, I normally do like a quick ball and all sort of chat, as you guys know, on a weekly basis. I didn't do it last week. My apologies, but I will be getting back onto it this week as well. Some very, good topics to talk about. See where you guys are at with that. But again, as we go back to Manly quickly, sort of funny the post-conference interview with the coach. There's Hasler, and I think it was Jake Duke who asked him that question about, where you guys 4 weeks ago compared to this. And he sort of gives him a pretty straight up answer. Like, I think almost that Duke guy sort of answers it for him. And it's a bit of a, comedic sort of moment for me anyway. But I'm look overall, Manly, they take on Rabbitohs. I want to get into that stuff on my own sort of videos as well. But I'm also doing a live. Sorry, guys. I'm doing a live with Fanatics as well tomorrow, so stay tuned to that for that on his channel. Looking forward to it. But now Manly actually versus the Rabbitohs. Now again, I'm not going to get into too much detail there, but yeah, that's definitely a blockbuster game. So again, kudos to Manly. Now game 2 saw the Penrith Panthers, who actually marked up against the Parramatta Eels in a game that I think a lot of us were probably thinking was going to be an easy walk. I think it was going to be. I think it was going to be an absolute. Probably thinking it was going to be 10 points, 20 points. Wasn't to be. It was actually a very close game, and actually the last points were actually scored in the first half. Now, my overall sort of thoughts on this game. Look, even though, as you guys know, I'm quote unquote following the Penrith Panthers as they sort of journeyed. I wouldn't have been upset had they lost yesterday. And to be fair, I think the better team actually did lose, and that was the Parramatta Eels. Now, as we look into this game here, first and foremost, I think they both threw the kitchen sink at each other. There was not much left in the tank by the end of that game there. Both teams wanted to win. You could see that that's exactly what had happened. Hats off as well to Junior Polo, who I think, to me personally, was probably standout for either team. Isaiah Papali'i as well, who came in. A shout out to David Tapangai Jr. for the Panthers. I thought Cleary's kicking game was good. His kicking game in particular was good. It probably carried them home. However, in saying that, from the perspective of moving on to the Melbourne Storm, there's still probably a lot more questions that are left to be desired. Now, again, as we sort of go into the game, I really enjoyed the tenacity and defense that the Eels actually showed, showing up and always being there on a regular basis, regardless of whatever Penrith Panthers threw at them. And they did. There was a lot of hard running. There was a lot of trick plays from Luai. There was a lot of good kicking games too from Cleary. A lot of work from Crichton too. But to only score 1 try, again, credit to Eels defense. But again, do you sort of look at it and say that that the Panthers offense is probably not good enough at all? You can probably question them and say, looking to last week as well, the week prior when they lost to the Rabbitohs, they probably lost a bit of spark in their attack, I think, as a team. Now, I will get into the quote-unquote controversies as well regarding some reffing things that I saw. And again, I'm talking as a neutral fan for either team, even though I'm, following the Penrith Panthers. But, just hats off to them both. I will say, though, that I was actually quite surprised at how dominant Eels forwards were, I thought anyway, especially in the latter part of the game when it looked like to me the momentum had swung. You could probably sort of question that point there and question again the fitness that was on display. But again, obviously both teams attacking hard at it. Now, sort of the key points for me personally regarding the Eels, first and foremost, I touched on their forwards, but I'm also going to sort of talk about Gutherson as well. I thought he was okay, actually. He was okay. He was all right. But I thought the forwards definitely led more. Who was that hooker there that dropped the ball Stone? I think it was Stone. If you guys know the name of the hooker, please let me know. I think it was Stone, his last name. I may be wrong, though. But anyway, he dropped the ball like three, 4 times over in crucial sort of points. Especially with Parramatta sort of going forward, and he dropped it. And, obviously at the end, you're led with Junior Bolo, sort of dropping the ball, subsequently ending the game. So, again, not much to sort of say there. Not much at all. But I think Gutherson was probably one of the standouts. Polo, Papali'i, and then you can sort of look at Waka Blake, who I thought tried his best. Again, Eels, much like, Penrith Panthers, they didn't have To'o. Eels didn't have Sivo. So again, it was a good game. RCG as well stood up for me. And over the Penrith Panthers, like I said, David Tapangai Jr., who actually had the most meters for any of the forwards and only played for 33 minutes. He actually ran more meters than Isaiah Yeo did, who actually played the full game. I thought Koroisau was good in patches defensively, was a very good player. I thought he actually played well. So hats off to Koroisau. And I think another player too that sort of stood out for me was Crichton, I think, as well. But I guess just for me, just some concerning points regarding the Penrith Panthers as they sort of head into the Storm. And the only reason why I'm sort of dissecting it is, like I said, I'm actually following them video by video. So, again, bear with me. With the Penrith Panthers, one of the concerning things about them, I'll just quickly as well, Neo, Tamatoa Masters. I can't remember, I think Stone. Yeah, I think it was Stone as well. I think it was. But just going back to the Penrith Panthers, and again, hello guys who are watching. Appreciate it. Just again, like I said, we'll get to the Warriors stuff after this. Got some, I don't know how to feel about some of these rumors floating around, and not also rumors as well, just some reports too. So we'll get into that very soon. But look, with the Penrith Panthers, as I said, heading against the Storm, one of the things that concerned me, number one, did they throw everything they had? Was that their grand final? Now, again, I don't say that mockingly. I say that, genuinely concerned as someone who's following the team, wanting them to actually get into the grand final and win it. That's sort of one thing. A rested Melbourne Storm team against an already battle-hardened, tested, exhausted Penrith Panthers team doesn't bode well heading into next week. Would you be considered a Nostradamus if you actually predicted the Panthers to win and they did? I think you would, because I think everyone's going to be tipping the Storm, the majority anyway. I think that was a tough game. That was arguably a grand final game there, and as I sort of lead into that theme, was that Panthers grand final. I hope not. If you're Penrith Panthers fan, you're obviously hoping it's not the case. See what happens there. Jacko here. Hey, man, how you going? Stone hasn't been able to play much footy due to COVID and is at least the third choice dummy half for the Eels. Yeah, correct. If Marnie or Lussick had played Eels, it's an odd they would have won the game. Yeah, I agree. And that's right. Yes, he's definitely on the lower echelon of hookers that they use, especially when you bring in Marnie, Lussick as well. And hey, you might even potentially throw Nathaniel Roach, a healthy Nathaniel Roach, in front of him. So yeah, I agree. And number two, the other concern with the Penrith Panthers is their forwards not showing enough grunt. James Fraser-Harris, to me, who normally leads up the front, is normally their go-to guy and is an absolute, pardon the pun, but he's a warrior for that team there. Again, sort of like a bit lackluster. Not too sure where that's going. And then you have Kikau as well, Virame Kikau. And then he's sort of not missing there. I guess the beauty about the Panthers is in their forwards department, you got Leota, who's put his hand up. I thought he played well. Isaiah Yeo, Liam Martin and bits and pieces. But I think one guy who's definitely been doing some good things too, as I mentioned before, David Tapangai Jr., who I think just adds that punch. And to be fair with you, he's probably that missing piece that they need. Now, I will be fair in saying this, I don't think Penrith Panthers have played their best footy. So again, in regards to the forwards in quite some time. So again, there's always that chance to rectify things coming against the Melbourne Storm. But that same question sort of remains. Is it too little? Is it too late? So have to wait and see. All right, just quickly as well, Frenchie, can you press my name and make me mod, please? I will try that, Frenchie, just quickly, man. Before I get it back into it. Yeah, look, Frenchie, I will. I think I'm going to type in your name and do it. Unfortunately, though, I'm just doing this on my my mobile phone, so I cannot do it. But I will remember your name and go from there. So bear with me for a quick second. All right, so quickly, another concern as well, and probably the last concern before I touch onto the Warriors news, sort of addressing those points I've talked about over the last, or they have been spoken about in the last couple of days with the Warriors. The halves. Luai has dropped in form considerably. You can see in the game too, he was just trying to do that ad-lib sort of heads up, tricky, play that we love from him, but he's not executing it well and just does not look great. one sort of thing about the pro with those Adelaide footy players is obviously they can create something out of nothing. That's the pro. You know what I mean? That's it. The beauty is that out of nowhere, bang, something can happen. These are try score. But the downside to that though is that when it doesn't work, they're actually arguably left looking the most silly out of your different types of halves. So you've got those who I think who system sort of halves like your Cooper Cronks, right? You got those type of those players who just sort of go by the book. They don't do anything magical. Sure, there's not much magic expected, but that usually works anyway. Whereas you got the footy, the halves like your Luais, and part of me almost thinks like heading into this game as well, maybe clearing him and not connecting well. I don't know. They did it first, but that spark that they had has died, and I'm not sure who's sort of responsible for it. But there's definitely a disconnect there that needs to be addressed heading in against the Melbourne Storm, who have Munster and Jerome Hughes. And I'll tell you what, those boys are ready and got a good connection there. So again, you're just going to have to wait and see, I think. But yeah, those are like my three sort of major points. One, the exhaustion. Did they throw everything? Was it too much? Number two, the forwards. Some of the key forwards that should be standing up are not. And it is quite concerning, though you can say that the Eels played a very, very, very good game. And then the third one as well is the halves. All right, so Keith Wallace asked me a question. Thoughts on Ash Taylor possibly coming into the... Yeah, look, I'll address those points very, very soon, guys. I'm just going to wrap up on my NRL talk here just quickly, the week that was. HTB, hope you had a wonderful weekend. Looking forward to another live chat soon. Yes, and guys, just quickly while we have you here, Fanatics and I are actually doing a live on his channel tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a good discussion with the brother over there. And again, don't forget to give him a like, share, and subscribe. He's a good dude. So, yeah, looking forward to it, man. Panthers should have kept Burton and let Luai go. Mistake will live to. Yeah, well, look, there's that controversy there, isn't it? And just quickly speaking of Burton, you sort of Naden as well probably should have went to fullback. I think Edwards was okay, but I think Naden should have went to fullback. Yeah, there's just going back quickly. There's that disconnect there, and I don't know. I almost think like this is the slow drop of Luai's form, and I don't want to say I don't mean it in that way. It's quite it's probably a really bad take, but it's all like he had the absolute peak and it was great. Representing footy Origin. Now we're sort of seeing the sort of downfall slow. But in saying that, like I said, he can get a chance to rectify himself. But I'm telling you now, that type of Adelaide footy will punish. They'll get punished against the Storm. And even though the Eels have obviously somehow found out the formula to beat the Storm, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. That good win there against the Eels does not mean anything. They're versing a very hot and fiery Melbourne Storm team. Now, guys, as I said, just quickly rounding that off, again, kudos to the Penrith Panthers who make it through. I'll be following them. There's more videos coming up regarding their journey. And again, hats off to the Eels who, well, hey, to be fair. And again, I'm actually going to sort of touch on the refereeing stuff now, guys. There was some actual moments in the game where, again, being impartial here, down the middle, there were some calls there against the Eels. Well, there should have been anyway. For example, there was a part where there was a bit of a break, and I think Luai grabs Mitchell Moses, and as they're running, sort of grabs him, lets him go. By the time he's let him go, he sort of falls over, and Eels were sort of on an attacking play there. And you'd argue that if had Moses been there, there could have been an extra pass there for him to score a try. Now, he was sort of let go of the play, and the bunker and the referee missed it. Which I thought was actually quite surprising. Again, I'm not here to ref bash. I have, if you guys haven't seen, I've got a Ball and More chat where I sort of try and, again, it's tough to do so. I get it. I follow the Warriors. There's some refs there who I swear hate my team, but you've got to try and also at the same time, we've got to show a bit of, I don't know, if you're a hardcore Eels fan, you're probably looking at me, you're probably disagreeing strongly. That's A-okay. But I sort of think that these refs in this situation, even though it's hard, we probably got to show them a bit of, I don't know, how do you sort of explain it? It was a messed up sort of thing. I still think there were some crucial points there that, the refereeing there was not great, I don't think, especially heading towards, I don't think it was the best, but in saying that, what you sort of do. But again, congrats to the Penrith Panthers who advance. And then we'll see what happens. All right, so just quickly, Ash Taylor gets a thumbs down from me as a signing. I get with people coming out of lock options, but in my LMAO, he's no better than Sean O'Sullivan at CHT. And then TYY, hey man, says good ref bashing is losers pursuit. And then Keith Whitelock says coaches need to be called out and exploiting everything, i.e. staying down for the trend to come out. Yeah, well, hey, at the same time, you could probably see, you could probably look at Blake Ferguson and sort of question the same sort of thing, right? Because he sort of stayed down and soon as the whistle, the magic whistle, which cures all things, leg pain, head pain, rib pain, particularly around the head, neck area. The magic whistle, for some reason, just cures all of these sort of pains that we sort of see. As soon as the whistle comes out, bang, he is healed. He can walk again. So, sort of funny to see. But again, just quickly, kudos to the Panthers. So, all right. Now, we're heading into the Warriors talk. And again, guys, for those who sort of missed it, like I said prior, I'm actually planning to be here for 30 minutes to 45 minutes before I go off. So it's going to be a bit of a short one here. So probably here for the next 15 to 20 minutes. We'll see how we go. And we'll go from there. Keith Whitelock, yes, Canberra did it to us, not in the spirit of... Yeah, well, of course, Canberra, you guys should watch my rant there. Ferguson, 100% Hollywood, that should be a penalty. Absolutely. I guess again, the reffing for both sides probably was not great, but I'm just going back to that little point there. Anyway, I keep on going in tangents. We're going to sort of address some things. So again, it's been reported apparently by the coach himself, the Warriors coach, that Sean O'Sullivan no longer part of the Warriors. And I will get to the Ash Taylor stuff as well, guys. So bear with me just quickly. My first initial thoughts on that, first and foremost, is where is our depth when he's gone? Can someone tell me? When Sean O'Sullivan goes, and I'm assuming that's what's happening, I assume he's not being re-signed. What happens next season when our halves are injured? The only reason why I'm saying that is because, unfortunately, as much as I love the idea of Sean Johnson coming back, and I know it's great, nostalgia, all those good things, we get a more mature Sean Johnson, all those beautiful things. What happens when Shania Harris-Tavita either A, goes, right? Because apparently he's exploring options, right? Goes or stays, or gets injured, and Sean Johnson does. Then what? And please don't tell me you're going to be putting Toy Harris in the halves or Suriname. Please don't tell me that that's plan B. Don't tell me that. Walsh, for certain, is definitely not starting there. He's a fullback. Leave my Walshy baby alone. He's out there in the fullback position. You don't touch him at all. So what happens then? I don't understand it. I don't understand why they decided to not re-sign him if that is the case. If that is the case, I feel very disappointed to personally say, again, disappointed because I think Sean O'Sullivan and Patches put his hands up, but I think ultimately it comes down to, I think, the bigger picture, which is the depth of the halves, and we don't have much heading into next year. Townsend's gone, Huku's gone, right? Huku's gone, Nikorima, unsure. I mean, sure, he's going to stay, but then you just don't know, right? There could be something that comes up. I don't know. So then you've got Sean Johnson, you got Shania Harris-Tavita, who's a maybe 50-50. So then it seems to me as if the Warriors are relying heavily on Toy Harris and or Suriname. I know for a fact that Walsh is not going to enjoy playing. He's not going to enjoy playing the halves as he's told to. He's a fullback, and he's our marquee player. He's the future of this. He's the future of our team, of the Warriors. He's the future of the team. So there's nowhere on earth that you touch him and put him into 5'8". You just don't do that. You just don't do that. Now, again, I'm hoping these reports that I'm hearing of, again, as I said, they're reports. It's nothing official. But I really hope that it's just somebody playing a prank, a troll, just trying to be funny. Because honestly, it is actually quite scary. It's a scary concept to realize that once Sean O'Sullivan goes, and then say, for example, Shania Harris-Tavita goes, guys, come on. The very thing that we struggled with this season is going to be the same thing that takes us into next season. Please stop telling us that it's our year. because if we can't even get the basic fundamentals of proper secured halves playing together regularly, forget it. Okay, don't talk about next year. Don't joke. Just don't, because I don't know how this ends. I do not know. So I am genuinely concerned. I'm very concerned. I'm going to read some comments here before I get into the other stuff. I just don't get why we should sign Ash Taylor, but it looks very likely we will. The Warriors coaching staff must not rate young O'Sullivan at all, which is mystifying to say the least. Well, yeah, quickly, the Warriors didn't rate him. They didn't rate Adam Kieran, right, who went off to better and greener pastures. They didn't rate Ase Papali'i. Now, I'm not sure whether that was sort of like a mutual thing or whatever, but, he sort of went. But Anyway, can't believe we ain't trying to keep O'Sullivan. Absolutely, fanatics. And Jacko here says, Nikorima is a bench player to cover injuries and play a bit of dummy half. He is certainly not a starting half. Well, yeah, that's right. And that's what sort of what I'm pressing on, is I hope the Warriors sort of, I'm just, again, no offense to Nikorima. I enjoy what he can bring sometimes, but again, if things don't go away and we're sort of relying on him and say, for example, Toy Harris, where does that sort of take us? Anyway, that is sort of my thoughts there. Now, before I get into the Ash Taylor stuff, I just want to say quickly, congrats to Reece Walsh, a.k.a. Walshy Baby, who has been named the Rugby League Players Association Rookie of the Year, which is awesome. I thought personally that I thought he should get it. I'm actually not surprised at all. I think he's done some really standout things and will only get bigger and better from here. And you see the smile on my face. Walsh makes me happy. When I think the Warriors, Walsh makes me happy. He gives me hope and he gives me a reason to dream. When I think about anything else to do with the Warriors, I crash and burn. No, I get, but I'm not. Well done, Reece Walsh. Good work, man. It's awesome, and good work. And again, he will just only get bigger, as I said, and it's a good sort of a lift up. And again, just shows you that this is probably a touch wood, but I think this is it. He probably is the dude for us. So yeah. All right, just gonna read some comments. And again, like I said, congrats to Reece Walsh. Awesome work. All right, depth at fullback is also a concern, perhaps more so than the halves. Okay, Hiku could have played fullback. Perrin, maybe Paul Turner. Yeah, that's right. Fonzie and the boys from TWL raised this recently, and I'm inclined to. Yeah, look, I agree too. Obviously, if Walsh gets injured, touch wood again. That's right. Look, we're very forwards heavy, but then even then, some of our forwards unfortunately underperforming, where we've sort of left the halves, and yeah, that's right, the fullback position too, with a lot of head scratching. So I agree. All right, Jacko here says these object covers fullback well. No, he's not too bad at it. All right, off topic, but I was watching the Redcliffe Dolphins versus Sunshine Coast standout players Tom Ale Shawley with I actually heard the result there. It was a good win by the Dolphins. It was actually great to see some of our boys be part of that as well. So I believe Vailea, Ale Gossi as well were part of it. Please name any other players that I may have forgotten. But no, it's good to see. But look, with that fullback position, we'll see what happens there. Another thing I just want to sort of touch on as well. We'll get into it. So, the Ash Taylor sort of rumor reports. So, guys who are not aware, it's been reported that we are going to be throwing a lifeline to one of the players that I really don't like. I think that probably. Okay, and Jackson Frey as well. Awesome. Look, I want to try to be very nice here. I am not a big fan of Ash Taylor. Probably because he was paid like close to $1 million, I think, and did not perform anywhere near a player who was worth $1 million. Now, I understand we're buying him at a cheap rate. I get that. I understand his prices dramatically dropped to the Warriors as it do. Is it smart business? Yes. Is it logical? I don't think so. Is it a Warriors move? Absolutely. Damn well it is. So they've pounced on him. They've got him. Well, they're going to get him. Rumored. And he could be potentially playing in the halves along Sean Johnson next year. So my initial thoughts on that is, obviously you're sort of looking at it from the price range. It's cheap. He's accessible. Sure. Okay. He's 26 years of age. I'm sure now we're going to talk on things that, money can't buy. So, I'm sure there's that hunger and desire. He knows very well he hasn't had a good season. Let's not sort of kid ourselves here. Ash Taylor has not had a great season at all. You could probably say the last couple of years it hasn't been great. But you're sort of looking at that and you think, well, we'll see what happens there. Again, those sort of the things that you're sort of looking at. But I mean, generally overall regarding Ash Taylor and my thoughts on it. Look, considering that he may arguably be the reason why O'Sullivan may be pushed out again, may. I'm not too happy. I'm not too impressed. I don't think he was a standout at all. And sorry, guys, I will get to the comments just quickly. I don't think he was a standout at all. But like I said, it's easier for me to sort of sit around here and sort of bash it based on face value. At face value, I think it's a horrible signing, potential signing that is, again, reported. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think that gives me much to look forward to heading into next season, to be quite honest with you guys. But yeah, at a cheap rate, you're sort of looking at that way. Sure. Okay. Again, he's 26. He's been through he hasn't had the best time at the Gold Coast Titans. Okay. So my sort of thoughts is, if you sort of rely on the intangibles, the sort of things again, money can't buy, you're just hoping he has the inner drive in him, then you think, it's okay, right? Like, that's the way I'm looking at it. That's my positive spin. Again, just trying to be positive and have that positive outlook on my dear Warriors who just make these choices, and you just gotta bear it and just grind your teeth and accept it. Because that's what we do, and that's what we've been doing for a long time, because this is the team we love, no matter what. Even they drive us literally up the wall, mental crazy. So it goes. So that's the positive sort of spin. And like I said, no, not really happy. If he joins in, no, not really, because I'm afraid he's going to give me exactly what we've been seeing, which is a lot of disappointment, to be quite frank. So it is sort of just, off the top of my head there that I'm thinking like this, but there's the positive spin. And again, like I said, not the best sort of person to look for, not at all. What can he add? Don't know. Maybe a bit of organization potentially. But just gotta wait and see, But like I said, that's the positives there. It's not much. Do I have much hope? No, not really. Not at all. Guys, to be honest with you, I think this Ash Taylor signing is not great. But I do wish him all the best, obviously. That's what you do. You wish your players the best. Now I want to just address the comments here. All right, so Jackson Fry, sorry. Fanatic said was good. That's good. Are we going to re-sign Fry? Does anyone have any news on that? Yeah, doing well. Enjoy the finals. Sorry, bro. Last comment, but any updates on Force? I'm assuming Keith Whitelaw was asking me. Look, or anyone who knows. My last thing, I know he played, right? So I'm not too sure. Again, that's all I sort of know. So, he played for the Dolphins a few weeks back. That's what I know. YY says it's not the player's fault he gets paid too much. Yeah, I agree. There's on the Gold Coast Titans. I think he could be a great buy. Yeah, well, I agree. At a cheap rate, he's great. That's sort of where I draw the line. At a cheap rate, he's good. He's a good buy. I'm happy to buy him cheaply. Absolutely. No complaints from me. If we're forking out, say, 200,000, sure. Sure. Maybe Brown thinks he can turn Ash Taylor's form around. He was a genuine top prospect a few years ago, but come on, he's 20 now, 26. He's had 4 poor seasons. Yeah, that's right. And that's one of the sad things about sport. And again, as you guys may or may not know, I watch a lot of sport. I follow a lot of teams from NBA to NFL to NHL to AFL, blah, blah, blah. One of the sad things about sport is when you see players who just don't have it, they just don't have whatever it takes to just get them over their hump to the next level. And, it's those sort of players we look at them and we say why they're even in the top grade, they should be playing reserve. that's the concern with Ash Taylor, is that, I'm concerned a lot of us are going to be looking back at this and then looking at him next year, hypothetically, if he was playing, and sort of saying, well, why is he playing for us? Why is he not in reserve grade? Why is he not playing the Dolphins team? And Tamato Masters, I think look, I agree. I mean, again, Shania Harris-Tavita is a player that definitely has his critics. Well deserved too. I tend to lean more on the, I like him side of things, but myself. I actually don't mind him playing, but yeah, that's right. He does need to step up. If he is to stay with us, again, I'm not too sure what is happening. Reports are saying that he's looking elsewhere. He hasn't come in to say he isn't. Again, just part of that mess that's happening next year with the halves. But yeah, he does need to step up. 1 or 2 big hits per game shouldn't be the criteria, that we should be looking at for a half. You know what I mean? We should be looking at somebody who can actually control the game, organize the game, which is something that I don't believe he has learned, either A, learned, or B, cannot do properly. So again, just looking at it from that point of view, as someone who does actually like him and wants him to be part of this team, and I do see him as a future halves player who I think I hope we don't let him go. Those are the sort of things he needs to work on. So yeah, that's all right. Good call. Hal, at last we have a decent forward pack. Yeah, here we are. Unsettling the halves there. Of course, you're right. Yeah, that's right. Before we just need a forward pack. Now we have a forward pack. We need halves. And it's a never-ending cycle of just pure depression as a Warriors man. To be fair, to CHT, he's been injured. Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. Yes. That is that's a good point. We all know he has been injured. Sorry, guys, just reading for the comments. Lol, now we have a strong team. Just need the halves. Yeah, I agree. Got to go, but enjoy the chill chat comments. You'll take it easy. Thanks again. And Venkatesh says, I'm worried that we'll need more halves because Harris, Tavita, and Johnson are both injury prone. That is so correct. And you sort of mentioned it just then. Toy Harris, and I'm sure Fanatics and myself will have this discussion. I'm sure we're going to have sort of opinions here, in future videos, and obviously my videos and his. But Toy Harris, again, I enjoy him, and congrats on him winning the Simon Mandarin, medal. But sort of my key thing about him too is, again, injury prone. I believe he has the leadership qualities. He definitely has the action qualities. He's got the premiership qualities from the Storm. He's got all that stuff there, representative honors. He's got all that stuff there. But there's one thing that sort of is his undoing, I think, and it's the injury stuff. He's injury prone. So as we head into next year, again, more questions in that department. So we'll see what happens. Again, guys, just a quick heads up. I probably won't be here too long for much longer, but I will quickly just finish this off and wrap it up. If Holbrook couldn't get Taylor's form up to NRL standard, and Brown has, Again, I don't want to give away too much of what I'm doing, guys. I'm heading into the postseason, so it's best for me to not say too much. But some of these comments here are definitely leaning into things that I'm working on for the postseason and so on. So yeah, good points here raised. Sechi is a quality player. He just needs more time on the field. He will complement Sean Johnson and learn. Well, yeah, that's right, and that's what I mean by I hope he actually does stay. I hope he really does. He's a great asset for us, and I believe he's definitely the future of the team. He's part of that future, sorry, along with Walsh and Rocco Berry, along with some of the up and coming players too. Vailea. You could probably even argue that point too, or Tukolo again. So again, there's a small amount of players coming through the ranks, which will help us. So yes, just quickly as well. So yeah, my thoughts overall on Ash Taylor, that signing, just to sum it up. If you look at the intangibles, that heart, that will, that hope that he can do something, that's probably the benefiting factor. We don't know what's going through in his head. You're sort of relying on that to be the game changer. But yeah, again, if you're sort of looking at it at face value, no, it's not a great signing at all. Potentially, again, reportedly, I'm not too impressed with it myself. But Yeah, I think for myself, again, just heading into this week, I'm going to be doing a ball and all chat. Again, my apologies for not doing it. I want to be doing a live with Fanatics as well tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Um, there's also some work that I'm doing. Again, I'm not going to give too much details, but I'm doing with BKR Sport as well, so looking forward to that. And I do plan to try and do more work with Dummy Half podcast as well. Yeah, just see how that goes. Again, I want to do some more of that stuff, but I said I do have more content coming on the way. But like I said, expect more of my stuff to be more the postseason stuff. There's gonna be a lot of stuff heading into it, and especially as I'm freed up with sort of like my studies too. I'm doing a lot of studies at the moment, which I love. Don't get me wrong, but it definitely does clash with my videos, which is okay. You know, we're heading into that final sort of semester, so we'll see how we go there. But in saying that, guys, I'm probably gonna head off now. Stay tuned. Again, more content coming. Me and Phoenix live tomorrow. But again, guys, take it easy. Thanks again for watching. And yeah, as we head into next week, we sort of yeah, it's going to be tough, you know, especially those two games coming up. Then obviously the Warriors. I'm assuming there's going to be more news drops happening this week. I'm hoping that Sean O'Sullivan signs with us. I don't know. I'm just hoping he resigns. But anyway, guys, take it easy. Thanks guys for being part of today. I'll see you guys next time. And again, mental health is important. So go and talk to those you love. And for yourself, please go and yeah, just be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Take it easy. I'll see you guys next time. And don't forget to hold the ball. See you guys next time.